Hey guys, so this lesson is going to be talking about imperialism, which is the next big topic that we're going to discuss in world history. So this is the introduction to imperialism, or Europe and the US try to conquer the world. So this is going to follow the same format as before. There's some key ideas that I'm going to talk through, and then at the end there are some questions that you need to answer and bring to class tomorrow so that you're ready to discuss and do the work in class. Alright, so first off, here are our key ideas. So this PowerPoint will be embedded into the website just like usual. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this page right here because I'm going to go through each of the key ideas on following slides. Alright, so first up, imperialism, is this political philosophy or ideology, and those words mean the same thing, that the United States and Europe followed in the last part of the 1800s and the early 1900s, so after the Industrial Revolution. And so this philosophy encouraged the US and Europe to control less developed areas of the world. So whenever we say developed, we're talking about industrialized. So industrialized and developed are kind of synonyms. So we know that Europe and the United States had profited from the Industrial Revolution, so now they use all these raw materials to make these things in factories. And as a result of industrialization, we come to this new thing, imperialism. Remember, imperialism comes from the term imperial, which means relating to an empire. So essentially, the United States and European countries started conquering land far away from them, creating these large empires. Okay? And they did it for two specific reasons. So the first is that, as we already know, the US and Europe needed these raw materials to use in their factories, right? So they didn't have enough, or it was cheaper to get other places, and so the United States and different countries in Europe went and conquered different countries in Africa. So in class tomorrow, you'll see a graphic that actually shows, which countries conquered which parts of Africa and vice versa. This one below here just shows you some of the resources that are available in Africa. So you can see some of the things that people today, we still get a lot of resources from Africa today, and so these are some of those resources here on this slide. The other reason is because many Westerners, so that means Europeans and North Americans, believed it was their duty to teach the uncivilized Africans and Asians how to be Christian and how to live more like Westerners. Okay, and that is actually, there's a name for that. It's called the white man's burden. Right, so as you can tell, there was a strong, what's the word I'm looking for? A strong thread of racism that flowed through this. So definitely a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people in Europe and the United States definitely felt like they were better than people in Africa and Asia. And as a result of that, they felt like it was their job, the Europeans and the North Americans, to go teach the Africans and folks in Asia how to be better, meaning how to be like them, meaning how to be like white, European, and North American Christians. All right, and so those are our two big reasons, raw materials and civilization, or civilizing people in Africa. I make the air quotes, civilizing people in Africa and Asia. So many parts of Africa and China benefited from this control because the Americans and the Europeans, came and created these new jobs. Like, we need you to harvest, these crops, or go and dig up this mineral or this energy source like oil or coal or whatever. And they put in a new infrastructure. So that word infrastructure is one that you should remember. It means all of the skeleton of civilization. So the roads, the schools, the hospitals, all of those things that we call necessities, right? So they were created because Westerners were living in Africa and China, and they wanted schools and roads for their own kids and their own benefit, but it also helped out the folks who lived in Africa and China. However, most Native people were forced to give up their culture and were exploited for money in exchange. Hold on.
Tavon Taylor, your mom's waiting for you outside. Get there ASAP. Tavon Taylor, outside.
Sorry for the interruption. Anyway, so most Native people were forced to give up their culture and were exploited for money. So you can see in this cartoon, you can see, Native folks who are essentially carrying Europeans. So the first person with the big hat is Uncle Sam, so that's the United States. The one behind him with the little top hat would be somebody from England. And then behind that we have the guy with the helmet, so that guy was probably from Germany. Right? So these are stereotypes about how people would have dressed. So we can see that, there's this guy here in the front with the turban on, so he's from somewhere in Asia or maybe India, right, as being exploited by the Europeans and the Americans. So that's pretty much it. So there are 3 questions that you need to answer to be ready for class tomorrow. Pretty straightforward. If you have any questions, definitely give me a call. Again, the PowerPoint is underneath the video on the website. Thanks for your hard work and attention. Please get this homework done. I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you.